Today on Beans, Brews and Bread, we're going to have a look at crops to sow in August and September. For our autumn crops, they call this the second spring. I think today it's 24 degrees. But the temperatures are going to get cooler soon at some point, and we'll need to start thinking about getting some crops in the ground to fill up those spots we've taken for harvesting. And we'll look to have some overwintered veg as well, leading into next year. So let's have a look and see what we've got sowing and growing this month in August. Let's have a look. So now is a really important time of the year just to try and get some extra crops in before we start getting in towards autumn and winter. There's still plenty of things that we can get sown and planted. At the allotment I've been continuing to plant leeks, carrots, beetroot. At this time of year you can even start thinking about overwintering peas for a quick start in spring, overwintering broad beans for a quick start in spring. I have tried this year to try and get as much back into the ground as we've been harvesting things, but now there's a lot more gaps than we normally have. Some things haven't worked. We've got a massive gap where the brassicas hadn't worked this year, but we'll try and get that limed and prepped up for some proper netting to get a new sowing of some brassicas over autumn and into next year sown, which I'll try showing you today. Some of those seeds that we've got ready to get transplanted on. There's loads of things we can carry on doing at this time of year. Stir-fried greens, mustards, choi, pak choi, loads of really tasty, nutritious greens that we can carry on growing and harvesting towards the end of the year. And hopefully, fingers crossed, if we get a mild winter, although predictions are that it's going to be a cold one, we can get protected and carrying on into next year. So we'll show some of the seeds that we've got at the house today and talk about some of the things that we've got growing on. Let's have a look. This year I'm making a concerted effort to do more sort of Asian salad greens and stir-fry greens, so these should hopefully crop this autumn and carry on over winter if we're lucky. We've got some mustard red giant here, mustard tatsoi, mustard mibuna and some mustard komatsuma, and to go along with those, just hopping over the brassicas, we've got some cabbage michihili, which is a Chinese cabbage style cabbage. But this is something that I've read quite a few years, where we try and get these to crop this side of this year, hopefully over winter, maybe with a bit of protection, a bit of fleecing, but really hope these can keep us in some greens over the rest of this year into next. Now the cabbages this way were a little mini disaster. I think they may have got club root in the plot. The ones that I had set up for anyway, so the brassicas this year were a bit of a failure on the plot. I suspect that we may have had some club root, which we have had in the past, and there was no crop to speak of apart from one cabbage. So concentrated on trying to get some autumn sown cabbages in for overwintering and maybe some quick greens. But with the hot weather we had, they just all completely withered and died. So we've gone for a further sowing now. Here we've got some heritage kale, Uncle Bert's purple, kale, di Toscana, got some purple sprouting broccoli, Brussels sprouts even special, probably mostly for greens rather than actual button Brussels sprouts. At the back we've got Savoy, got cabbage offernum, cabbage greyhound for spring cabbage, and collard greens cabbage there. Got some collies over here, calabrese, di Chico, collie all the year round, calabrese, green sprouting broccoli, and some romanesco. But as you can see, even though I've had some lids on these to try and keep the cabbage white butterflies away, they're still having a go at them. You see all that green caterpillar poop? So I've had to pick through them and got rid of a few little monsters. And I'll try and get these potted on today, try and get some plants in cells, maybe 4 to a bigger cell. Try and get them planted on and still protected from these cabbage white butterflies. They just won't stop. Anyway, get them potted on and try and see if we can get some decent cabbages and brassicas. At least it'll keep the ground filled with something rather than just bare soil. Anyway, fingers crossed. We've also got plenty of beetroot as well in little clumps. We'll be station sowing these. These are boltardy, and these are some boldor, the yellow variety here at the front. Got quite a few stations here to be able to put out on the plot. Hopefully we'll get a few of these this year. If not, we'll try and see if we can get some baby beets this year, and maybe overwinter a few into next year. If nothing else, we'll get some tops that we can put into salads. And speaking of salads, we've got plenty of mixed green and spicy cut and come again lettuce mixes here. Quite a few. This one's not been quite as successful. I don't know what that one is. That might need a re-sowing. It's a bit damp. Have these cut and come again. We'll take one at a time, put them in bags in the fridge and have them in a week. But looking good. I've only been up about a week or so. Really happy with these. And shortly I'll be putting a sowing of the Northern Queen Heritage variety out on the plot, because that's supposed to be a really good variety to overwinter. I've got a few in the heritage section on the plot which we're letting go to seed so I can get some for next year, but I'll use some of the seed provided from the heritage seed library this year to get a autumn sowing done for overwintering. But looking forward to these cut and come again varieties. These look really nice. So plenty to be getting on with. Got some brassicas to get transplanted on into bigger cells now that we've dealt with the unwelcome visitors of the caterpillars. Get them into bigger trays, probably be 4 per cell, but bigger nevertheless to try and get the root systems developed. Also try and get space being a bit of a premium to try and keep them protected from the caterpillars. With this warm weather we're getting, the pests still seem to be hanging around. Having a bit of a field day with those seedlings, so if we can try and get them under some cover or protected, maybe put some netting over the shelving that we've got, try and get them protected. But we'll get them potted on, get them up to the allotment if we can, try and get a few more rows of stuff in at the allotment. Those beetroot look like they might be getting ready to plant out per cell, but plenty to be getting on with. Weather persists, so I really encourage you all, try and get some extra sowings done, even if you've not got a lot of space, or you've not got any gaps. Just try and get something sown, something will come free, get something planted in, and try and get your harvest continuing for the rest of the year and prepped into next. But good luck. Well, thank you for tuning in today to Beans, Brews and Bread. I hope you've enjoyed what we've had a look at in terms of sowing and growing for August and into September for our autumn crops and overwintering into next year. If you've liked what you've seen today, then I'd be very grateful if you give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to be notified of the next time we've got a video on the channel, then press the subscribe button. If you press the bell so you can be notified. If you have any comments or suggestions, or you want to tell us what you're sowing for this month into next, then pop down in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.